All right. What's going on, party people? It's your man Griff. Disaster was avoided. I got my fritters. I'ma tell y'all. Woo, I went to bed about 1, 2 something this morning, and I got up on time. I still got up around 6, and I was just laying there, and I went back to sleep and got back up at 7. Next thing I know, it's 8. And I got to get the wife to where she got to go. I got to get to my 9 o'clock. And that's why I went ahead and make sure I printed everything out the night before. And man, oh man, I'm sitting there and I ain't going to lie to you. I'm in the signing, worried about, not just thinking, but really worried whether or not I'm going to get me an apple fritter today. So it turned out okay. You know, I got my fritter and everything. So I'm getting ready to knock out some house inspections before this 1 o'clock closing that I got and everything. And then tonight we doing a live. So get your apple fritter, save it for later. That's what I'm doing. I got 2. I just nibbled on one for a little bit because it threw my whole eating habit this morning, my routine off. So I got to get me some regular food now. But I'm gonna hold on to these fritters for this weekend and later tonight doing the live and stuff. So I might warm me up a fritter and throw some ice cream on there, some of that caramel dolce, uche, mama say, whatever it is, and all of that. But yeah, so I also wanted to share with y'all real quick the importance of notaries keeping their mouth shut during a signing. Okay, and we talked about that. We talked about that the other day. I gotta put my cold drinks in my little cooler here. So we talked about that the other day, and here's the importance of this. Here's a real life example of what can happen if you start running off at the mouth about something that you really don't know, and you shouldn't. I do the signing today. The guy, I could tell from the get-go he was a little stressed, but also relieved that we was actually closing. He said, man, it's about time. This closing took forever. So I'm thinking, I'm like, well, we ain't even got started, but what he was talking about, just the whole process. So what I found out, little bumpy roads again, is that he did a closing back in April. And right at the end of the closing, after all the papers were signed, the notary decided to start talking about, hey, I'm trying to get this. There we go. Brighten that up a little bit. So the notary all of a sudden decides to tell the signers, oh, by the way, you need to call your current mortgage company and find out when you're going to get your escrow check. Now, I've never been told to do that. I don't advise you doing that. And here's the reason why. Man, the lighting is really jacked up today. Sorry about that, y'all. So he decides to tell them that. And in the midst of him telling them that, they said, oh, okay, we'll call our current lender. They called the current lender. That lender now says, hey, we've been trying to get in contact with you, which I'm sure if they wanted to get in contact with them, they would have. But they're like, oh, yeah, we see you refinancing, and we wanted to offer you a better rate. Now, at this point, you're probably saying,
on I-64 West.
You're probably saying, what's the big deal, Griff? They might be getting a better rate. The big deal is their new loan people paid the current loan off before the right of rescission ended. Normally, the date of disbursement is the day after the right of rescission, and that's when they disperse the money. But that company went ahead on and paid everything, bam. So by the time this guy went through and found out whether or not he could get a loan at a much lower interest rate, that loan was paid off. So they pulled the loan application and said, well, we can't do it because your loan is paid off. Even though he did do the rescission, he canceled within the rescission period, but the other company had already paid everything off. Now, they had to go through months of back and forth, deed not getting recorded, the old mortgage paid off, people got to send money back. All of these things because the notary decided, oh, I'm going to give you some insight. I'm going to give you a nugget and tell you something that you really shouldn't be saying out of your mouth. And this is why I harp so much. And this here is to all of those of you who keep calling me and texting me and all the time. Well, I just feel I need to say something about the documents. I really feel I need to just, be able to answer questions and give more information. Now, here's the thing. He mentioned, and rocks flying everywhere. I told him, I said, the notary shouldn't have did that. I said, because that got y'all all in the tailspin going this way, that, the other. I said, all it would take is for the other loan company to find out what the heck happened, and you say, well, the notary said ... And he was like, well, actually, that's what I said. And he said, I told him, I said, well, the notary told me to do this, so that's what started all of this. You just cost the company, I don't even know how much their loan was for. I honestly don't. I can't even remember. But let's just say where they was living at is probably maybe $300,000. It probably was less. The house is probably worth maybe 5 or 6, and they're doing the refi to get down into a 15 year. So they probably had a lot paid off. It was just trying to drop in and get the house paid off quicker and get a lower interest rate. And I'm sitting here like, this is what I'm talking about. We got to be careful. So if you feel that you really just got to almost always open your mouth about stuff, you got to be careful. And the guy was like, yeah, I told him that the notary told me. And that's what I be telling y'all. And that's what other companies and people be telling y'all, that at the end of the day, they're going to say, who told them to do this? The notary. So you should not be saying anything about the documents. Just go somewhere and get you an apple fritter. Sit down with Man, TT, Cody, and Kylie, and just enjoy your life and know that you just made you some money on a loan closing. Now, if I was that loan company and I found out that the notary did that, I would be tearing into that notary's behind. That notary wouldn't be doing another signing ever in their life in any state or any part of or any continent. Because that was not the role and position and job of the notary to do any of that. If they ask you about their escrow, you tell them to go talk to your loan officer. If they ask you when I'm getting my escrow check, you go talk to the loan officer. It's that simple. It is that simple. That is what we are to do. And too many times, notaries are going above and beyond what they're supposed to, and it can cause some major problem. And the guy was like, yeah, this is a huge headache for us. Huge headache. And even though they eventually got the interest rate that they wanted, but the pain and the back and forth that they had to go through to get it was unjustifiable. They shouldn't have had to go through all of that. And yeah, they saved a few. And then here's a kicker. Out of all of this, and now I understand why the guy was looking the way he did. After all of this, they got the interest rate they wanted, and their monthly payment's still the same. Now, yeah, they went from a 30 to a 15, but he was like, I thought I was going to get a lower monthly payment. Monthly payment the same. Monthly payment the same. Didn't really save anything except he'll be paying it off in 15 years. Got a lower interest rate. But the dollar amount that he's kicking out, and then he's with the same company, so there's no need to get a escrow refund. That'll probably just get transferred over to the new loan, and they're getting about 2 G's back, and that's it. So all of that, because the notary opened their mouth and said you need to go call and check on your escrow. That is not your job. And for those of you who might get mad at me, I ain't talking to Griff no more, bump him, bump you. I'm serious, because you do not supposed to be out there getting people all hemmed up like that. That's just the bottom line. You are not a loan officer. If you want to be all that into these daggone documents and stuff, be your behind a loan officer, an escrow officer, or and all of that kind of stuff. Go take the classes and do it. Start your own title company so you can get all deep into that. But if you don't want the responsibility that comes with it, then stay your butt in your notary lane. And that doesn't make any sense. And see, I take this real serious. And it ticked me off to see that man frustrated the way he was. Now, his wife was like, hey, everything worked out. But I could tell he was like, he had a much lower monthly payment, whatever it was before. And now he ain't really saving anything. All because the notary wanted to run off at the mouth. So if you want to not deal with me anymore, you don't want to listen to me anymore, you want to unsubscribe and all of that, that's fine. But I'm telling you, this ain't about you. This is about them. And you are not supposed to be out here causing pain on people like that. And that's what I consider that, as you causing pain, because that man was not happy. Not happy that he had to go through all the April, May, June, July, August, September, 5 months just to pay the same amount that he was already paying. Oh, I will be hot. Is what I know now. Oh, if I ever refinance and any of you notaries, y'all come in, don't say a word. If you see it's me, then you probably don't even want to take the order, because I'm like, look, come in, show me what I need to sign. Don't say a word. Don't even tell me the title of the document. I don't want you saying nothing, because I don't want you trying to show off, get fancy and all that, because if you do and you start running off at the mouth and saying something, I'm going to report you, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to hit your E&O, all of that. And I know people like, man, no, because y'all, I mean, we ain't supposed to be doing this. And see, I just did that. And I was struggling on whether I should do that video about the instructions and rules and saying stuff, because I know people, you know, they get offended behind that. They don't like that because they want to run off at the mouth about these documents. But I'm telling you, that ain't what we're supposed to be doing. And ain't no all's well that ends well, because it really didn't end well for that gentleman, because he was not happy that he didn't save a dime on his loan at all. That's just the truth of the matter. Now, I'm going to knock out the rest of my house inspections. I'm going to hit me up, maybe nibble a little bit more on this apple fritter. I'm going to see y'all tonight. Well, those of you who, yeah, some of y'all might not want to come now that y'all heard this video, so you might be mad at me. But that's okay. I'm still with you. If you need help, you get stuck on something, when all those other people won't answer the phone and help you out, I still will. Peace.